Hello and welcome to today's video. We're still talking about decimals, and this is about changing between decimals, percentages, and fractions. So changing decimals to percentages is so easy. The rule, if you need a rule because it's so easy, is multiply the decimal by 100 and add a percentage sign. To multiply a decimal by 100, you just move the point 2 places to the right. So 0.64 is the decimal, equals 64%. You've moved the point 2 spaces to the right from before 64 to after 64 and added a percentage sign, so 64%. 0.23 becomes 23%. 1.97 becomes 197%. Very easy. Changing percentages to decimals is also very easy. The rule, again, if you need a rule because it's so easy, is divide the decimal by 100 and take away the percentage sign. This is the opposite of what we just did when we're changing decimals to percentages. So we divide a decimal by 100 by moving the point 2 places, this time to the left. So 64%, we remove the percent sign and we move the decimal point from being after 64 to being before 64, so it becomes 0.64. For 23%, we lose the percentage sign. We move the point from being after 23 to being before 23. And for 197%, we lose the percentage sign and we move the decimal point 2 places to the left, so that gives us 1.97. Changing decimals to fractions. If it's less than 1, you can always change a decimal to a fraction by dividing by 100. So 0.25 becomes 25 over 100. 0.63 becomes 63 over 100. 0.94 becomes 94 over 100. Doesn't matter which number you choose, it becomes a new fraction with 100 on the bottom. Sometimes, of course, you can find a number to divide into the top and the bottom. So out of the examples we looked at, 25 over 100, you can divide by 25 and that becomes 1 over 4. 63 divided by 100, you cannot divide again. And 94 divided by 100, you can divide by 2 and it becomes 47 over 50. But sometimes, like with 63 over 100, you can't do it. Now let's look at numbers higher than 1. If a decimal is more than 1, for example 4.25, what do? Just remove the whole number, 4, for a short time, so you get 0.25. Then convert 0.25 to a fraction. It becomes 25 by 100, and then we simplify that to 1 by 4. Then we put the whole number back. 1 by 4 becomes 4 1 by 4, and that is the answer. What about longer decimals? If it's 0.25, we divide by 100, as we did earlier. What if it's 0.87365? The rule is that the number starting with 1 on the bottom, like 100, must have the same number of zeros as the number of numbers after the decimal point. So when it was 0.25, we had 2 numbers after the decimal point, 2 and 5. And we had 1 plus 2 zeros to make 100. In this example, we have 5 numbers after the decimal point. So we need 1 plus 5 zeros. So it's 1, 0, 0, comma 0, 0, 0, or 100,000. So the fraction would be 87,365 divided by 100,000, or 1 with 5 zeros. And you can then simplify that. To change a fraction into a decimal, you have to calculate the division in the fraction. So, for example, 2 by 5 is the same as or means 2 divided by 5. So you have to do that calculation. Take 2 and divide it by 5. 5 into 2 goes 0. You can see this calculation on the right. So 5 into 2 is 0. And then decimal point, 5 into 20 is 4. And it goes exactly, nothing left over. So the decimal is 0.4. And you can see that we have taken the 2 divided by 5 and done the division and made 0.4. Okay, changing percentages into fractions. To change a percentage into a fraction, put the percentage number on the top of the fraction and 100 on the bottom of the fraction. So to change 24% to a fraction, firstly you have to make a fraction and decide what is the top number, what is the bottom number. On the top, you put the 24. On the bottom, you put 100. Check if the fraction can be simplified. With 24 by 100, both numbers can be divided by 4. And so 24 divided by 4 is 6. 100 divided by 4 is 25. So the answer is 6 on the top, 25 on the bottom is 6/25. To change a fraction to a percentage, multiply the fraction by 100. So to change 3/4 to a percentage, do 3 by 4 times 100. And in that example, you can divide the top and the bottom by 4. So you divide the bottom by 4 and it becomes 4 divided by 4 equals 1. On the top, you can divide by 100 by 4 and the answer is 25. So you're left with 3 times 25 on the top, and you do that calculation and the answer is 75%. Now let's look at a harder example. So this time we're going to change 3 by 8 to a percentage. So we write it as 3 over 8 times 100. Again, we can divide into the top and the bottom. We can divide by 4. So on the bottom, 8 divided by 4 equals 2. On the top, same as last time, 100 divided by 4 equals 25. So on the top, we have 3 times 25, which equals 75. On the bottom, we have 2. So our fraction is now 75 divided by 2. And if we do that calculation, the answer is 37.5. And that's our new percentage. Okay, your turn. Change 0.72 to a percent. And as always, I'm going to go ahead fairly quickly with the answers. So pause if you need to. The answer is 72%. Next one. So to change quarter to a decimal, or 1 by 4 to a decimal. So I'm going to give you the answer now. Change 14% to a decimal. And I'm going to give you the answer now. The answer is 0.14. So how do we do that? We take 14% and we throw away the percentage sign. So we have only 14. And then we divide by 100. And we do that by moving the decimal point 2 places to the left. So 14 becomes 0.14. And that is the answer. Change 1 by 5 to a percentage. I'm going to give you the answer now. The answer is 20%. How do we get that? We write as 1 by 5 times 100. Then we can divide the 5 on the bottom and the 100 on the top by 5. So we get 20 on the top, 1 on the bottom. So we have 1 times 20 on the top equals 20 and 1 on the bottom. So that is 20%. So we change 64% to a fraction. And the answer for that one, 16 by 25. What do we do? We made a fraction with the percentage on the top and 100 on the bottom. So 64 by 100. And then we divided the top and the bottom by 4. So we got 16 over 25, and that is the answer. And this one is change 1.75 to a fraction. So the answer for that one is 1 3 by 4. Where did that come from? Well, forget the number before the decimal point for now, the 1. Make a fraction from 0.75. So the fraction is 75 on the top, 100 on the bottom. We can divide both of those by 25. So 75 divided by 25 is 3 on the top, and 100 divided by 25 on the bottom is 4. So we have 3 by 4. And we add back the whole number, which is 1. So now we have 1 3 by 4, and that is your answer. And the next question, change 3 and 7/8 to a decimal. And I'm going to race ahead and give you the answer now. And the answer is 3.875. And to get that, first of all, you forget about the whole number for now. We divide the top number by the bottom number, so 7 divided by 8. And there is that calculation. And it gives you 0.875. Now we add back the whole number, and the answer is 3.875. Next one, and this you'll be pleased to know is the last one. Change 35% to a decimal. And the answer for that one is 0.35. So you remove the percentage sign. So now we just have 35. Then we divide by 100. And to do that, we move the decimal point 2 places to the left. So 35 becomes 0.35. And there it is. Answer 0.35. And this is the end, my friend. See you next time.